All right then, Patricia, thanks a lot for doing this interview.
You're welcome.
So to start off, maybe you could just talk a little bit about how long you've been investing in property, how you found it.
Well, I've done a little bit of sort of renting with my own property as my son was growing up, as I was a single parent, and I became redundant about 3 or 4 years ago, and wasn't really doing anything much. My son needed to get a bit more of a career sort of ideas.
Oh, sorry, guys.
So we went and went for a meeting, and were quite inspired about property. It was quite an expensive ordeal, really, and the courses were really, really, stupidly expensive. So then we found that Dell was doing some courses, so we decided to seek him out and then see what he could do as far as mentorship went. That was probably about a year, two years ago. Well, it was 2 years ago this year. And we sort of talked to him about what we wanted to do. Myself and my son would go on 2 different paths, but we could do some things together, which I found really helpful. And Dell said what we could do, and I did have a bit of a lump sum, so he said, well, the potential of that is this. And I thought, wow, it was just a huge amount more than we actually thought we could do. We were looking at sort of like smaller properties, and he took us to see something that was about, I think, 17 rooms, and we're like, oh my God. But it really brought me to a different way of thinking about good and bad debt, because I've never been in debt, and it was really scary to think about I'd be sort of looking at properties that were sort of like 600 grand or something. Anyway, there was an issue with the amount of deposit that I needed, so we had to go a little bit further down, but we ended up looking at a property, or found a property that was 10 rooms, with land on the back, so there's potential to build on the back as well. So we've renovated over years, really from about last January. It took about a year for us to do it as like pretty novices, really. And Dell had mentored us during that time, helping us with looking at how to project manage, the requirements of the building, as far as government requirements, the sort of things we'd need to put in place. And it was just really, really helpful, because the mentoring wasn't just like a one-off or for a month. It was throughout the period. I think probably I was expecting more as far as what paint should I use, which obviously wasn't what it was about, and I did kind of learn a lot. But Dell was really helpful during that time, and is still being supportive now. We've actually fully renovated and rented out a 10-bedroom property that has got kitchens in each room. It's got en suites in 7 of the rooms, and it's done to a really good standard. So we've got professional people in there, and all of the rooms were let within a month. So I'm now sort of like on the other side of that. And I'd say if it wasn't for the links that Dell had given us, and the support and telling us that, yeah, we could do it, I don't think I'd actually be in that situation now.
All right, that's perfect. So what kind of advice would you give to people hoping to get on the property ladder and into property investment? Obviously, you've done it all now. You could class yourself as a full-on property investor. But people looking to start out, what advice would you give them? What guidance?
I think it's quite scary. And people are worried about investing in property. They're worried about they don't know enough about it. So I think that you can read books, you can go on a variety of different courses, and I think that the support that there is from someone like Dell and Property Options is sort of a great thing to do, and you can just come and talk about it. There's no hard sell. So I think that if you kind of ran through what you'd like to do with somebody who knows what they're talking about, you could then look at whether you want to carry on and do it on your own, whether you want to go with some support. And I think Dell's kind of mushroomed over the time that I've been like working with him, and is looking at other sort of like bespoke courses and little courses on things that people can do, so people can kind of pick and mix as well. And I think even the meetings that we have, the PIN meetings, that you meet and rub shoulders with people that are all scared and they're all out there trying to have a go and doing something. So that camaraderie and support, even at that level, is really crucial.
All right, Pat, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Take care.